Hello there, everyone. Now, today I'm just going to be looking at an article from, I think, about a week ago or something, about how Ubisoft is no longer interested in having finite experiences in their games. And before just kind of putting my ideas out about that, I do want to kind of explain about it a little because it's an interesting term. And what Ubisoft has said is they don't want a finite story with a clear end goal that you then complete and then you're done with the game. They want to replace that with many smaller stories, kind of in the interest of having it more like games as a service and more of a continuous system of putting out stories in more episodic fashion, I guess. And I think this idea is an interesting one, and it definitely has its benefits and its drawbacks, which I think are very much due down to the execution, the presentation of this new kind of format for the newer games, which they are going to do in all their games and not just Assassin's Creed, though I'm kind of focusing on Assassin's Creed. I think the drawbacks are definitely if the stories are too isolated from one another, there won't be enough investment in the characters and in the story overall to just keep people interested in the game, and people might not continue to play it after they've seen a few installments that are all very different, and that will compound a problem that people have talked about numerous times in Assassin's Creed, which is the lack of investment in characters because they don't have enough time to develop. On the other hand, I think that if the smaller stories are connected by some overarching narrative they all contribute to and they add to each other, then they can actually help to give more investment in the characters because the characters may have more time with all the numerous installments that will be added one at a time. There might add up to be more time for the characters to develop, and the story might be more engaging because between each installment there's some time to kind of think over what happened in the last one before just continuing on. So I think definitely there are benefits, there are drawbacks, and they are due down a lot to the presentation and the execution. In the realm of presentation, I think there is definitely, for this to work, kind of a change that needs to be made in how the narrative specifically is presented and in what format. Because for a long time, video game stories have mirrored kind of that of a movie story structure, with the first, second, third act and the conflicts and the resolutions, and they can be a bit more broken up in games because games tend to be a lot longer than your average movie. But I think they are pretty much the same in how they are executed and presented. But I would think here that with Assassin's Creed Odyssey being probably the first one to have this episodic nature, it would have to change in how the story is presented to be more like something of a TV series in its kind of format of having many smaller episodes, each with their own first, second, third acts and their own smaller stories, but with each one contributing to a larger story that might be explained in kind of a series or season premiere, which a show usually has, or in this case probably what is released day one with any given game with this new style of its story. And this, I think I've noticed this is kind of down to a sort of a change or an event in media or in entertainment as a medium, being that TV series have gained quite a bit of popularity over recent years, being much more of an event when a new season or a new series starts. People are a lot more interested, and a lot more people are interested. Something more like a blockbuster movie, and also budgets of series have gone up to kind of mirror that. So I think that leads into possibly influencing this new idea Ubisoft is going for. Maybe. I'm not 100% sure. But I think it could be a contributing factor to that, and that would be a good way to structure this new idea of a story, would be to have kind of various smaller episodes leading into one another. But I'm not so sure about it. I think I've got ideas like that one, but not really. I think that it's definitely due down to a lot of the execution and the presentation, but can't really say much for now. I just have to wait for when Odyssey comes out to see how that works, especially for Assassin's Creed, because Assassin's Creed is very narratively driven. it's very focused on having stories and having that broken up into smaller ones. It will be interesting to see. And I think it could go good, it could go bad. I'm not really sure for now. But I'm interested to see how it works out. And I'm also interested to hear how you think it might work out. So do share any thoughts or opinions you have down in the comments. And definitely subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.